Imagine, for a moment, that you are standing in your backyard on a clear, crisp night. The stars are bright, the moon is hanging low, and the universe feels infinite and silent. But then, you notice something wrong. One section of the sky is missing. A void darker than the space between stars is growing larger by the hour. It isn't a black hole. It isn't a cloud. It is a world. A massive frozen wanderer, silent and deadly, and it is on a direct course for home. What if a rogue planet collided with Earth? Welcome to the darkest scenario in cosmic history. Today we explore a question that keeps astronomers awake at night. What happens when a planet without a star decides to cross paths with ours? To understand the threat, we first have to understand the Wanderer. In the vast, cold expanse of the Milky Way, there are billions of planets. We are taught that every planet belongs to a star, Mercury to the Sun, Jupiter to the Sun. But out there, in the deep dark, there are orphans. Rogue planets are worlds that have been ejected from their parent solar systems during the chaotic early days of formation. Perhaps they ventured too close to a gas giant and were slingshotted into the void. Perhaps their sun died, or they were formed in isolation. These are frozen, desolate worlds, drifting through the galaxy at speeds of up to hundreds of kilometers per second. They are the ghosts of the cosmos, invisible, cold, and utterly silent. The scenario begins not with a bang, but with a keystroke. It is a Tuesday evening at a high-altitude observatory in Chile, an automated survey telescope designed to hunt for asteroids, flags an anomaly. At first, the astronomers think it's a glitch, a data error, but as they refine the coordinates, the blood drains from their faces. It isn't an asteroid, it's too massive. It isn't a comet, it has no tail. By measuring the gravitational wobble it exerts on the distant Kuiper Belt objects, the calculations confirmed the impossible. A planetary mass object, roughly the size of Mars, is barreling toward the inner solar system. It has no star to orbit. It is a rogue, and in exactly 18 months, it will intercept Earth's orbit. The announcement shatters the modern world. Governments attempt to maintain order, but the math is undeniable. For the first time in human history, humanity faces an extinction-level event with a definitive countdown. We are not talking about a rock the size of a city. We are talking about a world the size of a planet. There is no Armageddon movie solution. We cannot nuke it. We cannot divert it. We can only watch. As the months tick by, the rogue planet enters the outer reaches of our solar system. It moves like a silent predator. Because it has no light of its own, it remains almost invisible to the naked eye until it is terrifyingly close, but its gravity speaks for it. Long before we see it, we feel it. Astronomers watch in horror as the orbits of Mars and the asteroid belt begin to warp. The rogue planet is a gravitational bully, plowing through the solar system like a bowling ball through a gallery of pins. It disrupts the delicate clockwork that has kept our system stable for 4 billion years. 2 weeks before impact, the rogue planet becomes visible to the naked eye. It doesn't shine like a star, it consumes the light behind it. It appears as a jagged circular void in the night sky. As it closes the distance, the tides begin to rise, not just in the oceans, but in the crust of the Earth itself. The gravitational interaction is the first sign of the apocalypse. Because the rogue planet is massive, let's say half the mass of Earth, it exerts a tidal force that pulls our oceans towards it. Coastal cities experience tsunamis hundreds of meters high. The ground beneath our feet groans. Tectonic plates, usually moving at the speed of growing fingernails, snap and shift. Volcanoes that have been dormant for centuries erupt in unison. The sky turns gray with ash. The sheer tidal stress on the planet's core generates friction, heating the mantle. The Earth is being squeezed like a lemon. If the rogue planet passes close enough without hitting us, it could still strip our atmosphere away, leaving Earth a barren, irradiated rock. But let's look at the worst-case scenario, the one we fear most, a direct collision. In the final hours, the object dominates the sky. It is no longer a dot, it is a ceiling of rock and ice. The two planets are now locked in a death spiral. The approach speed is estimated to 20 kilometers per second. The kinetic energy involved is beyond human comprehension, equivalent to billions of the largest nuclear weapons ever built. When the rogue planet impacts, it doesn't just hit the ground, it punches through the crust and into the mantle. The energy release is instantaneous. The Earth's crust acts like water splashing upward. A plume of vaporized rock and metal shoots out, launching molten debris into orbit. The impact liquefies both worlds. Earth as we know it ceases to exist. It becomes a sea of magma, a hellscape of orbiting debris that will eventually coalesce into a new, larger planet, perhaps forming a new moon, much like the theory of our own moon's creation billions of years ago. Life and all its complexity is erased. The history of humanity, our art, our wars, our love stories, is compressed into a layer of ash between the rocks, to be found only by a future civilization, if one ever arises. But what if it wasn't a direct hit? What if we had 18 months of warning? Could humanity survive? In the scenario of a close pass where the rogue planet skims the Earth, the survival chances drop to near zero due to atmospheric stripping and tectonic chaos. However, if the impact was projected for the other side of the globe, or if we had decades of warming, there is a sliver of hope. Deep underground bunkers powered by geothermal energy might shield a lucky few from the initial firestorm, but they would emerge into a world unrecognizable, a world of endless winter, choked skies, and a broken ecosystem. The only true survival strategy would be escape. If we detected the rogue planet 10 or 20 years out, the wealthy nations of the world might unite to build ark ships, massive vessels designed to carry the genetic legacy of Earth to Mars or the moons of Jupiter. But for 99% of the population, there would be no seat on the boat. The sad truth is that against a planetary collision, the Earth itself is the lifeboat, and if the boat sinks, we sink with it. The terrifying reality of rogue planets is that they are out there right now. Estimates suggest there are billions of them in our galaxy alone, more rogue planets than there are stars. They drift in the dark, invisible phantoms. Most will never come close to a solar system like ours, but the possibility, however remote, remains. So the next time you look up at the seemingly empty space between the stars, remember, you're not looking at nothing. You might be looking at the path of a wanderer, and it reminds us that our safe harbor on Earth is not a permanent guarantee, but a fleeting privilege in a chaotic universe.